sabr. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. My respected brothers and sisters, I'm so happy to see you tonight, inshallah, for a continuation of what we started, which is Surah Al-Mutaffifiin. So, inshallah ta'ala, for those who are new to this halaqah, I want to encourage you to stop me at any time and to ask questions. If you are interested in this halaqah, please come to watch the interactive board, because this is where it all makes sense, inshallah ta'ala. So I'm going to do a brief summary of what we've covered last time. And last time we only covered how many ayahs? 3. That's it. Because this is a really in-depth kind of tafsir, inshallah ta'ala, okay? So we talked last time about the different types of disease. We talked that there is a disease that is physical disease, and there is a mental disease, and then there is a behavioral disease. And this surah talks about a behavioral disease. It is one of the most dangerous disease of the heart, hypocrisy. It talks about a specific group of people that oppress and that are dishonest. Those people, they demand full justice when taking their share, and they demand it with arrogance, they demand it with aggression, and they demand it with a level of superiority. Yet, when it's time for them to give, they are dishonest. This surah is not just about business transactions. You can easily argue and say that back in the days they had al-kayl and they had al-mizan. They had ways and measures. This surah talks about everyday interaction in everything in your life. It doesn't matter what kind of job you do. It doesn't matter what kind of profession you have. It's about an attitude. It's about the root of moral corruption, which is a selfish attitude of me, 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 me. It's all about me. If I want something from you, I'm going to ask it with arrogance, with superiority. And if it's time for me to give you, I'm going to skim as much as possible without you noticing. And so the surah is really an invitation to re-examine yourself and how you treat others, to re-examine the fact that Allah Azza wa Jal is watching and recording everything. And He's going to talk about 2 types of records in this surah, which we will cover inshallah. One of them, which is Sijjin, the book of the Fujjar, the book of the wicked, and Illiyin, the book of the Abrar and the book of the righteous. The surah, very quickly, begins with the word wail. This is just a quick summary of those 3 ayahs. Wail, it starts with an alarm. You know how when you sound the alarm? This surah sounds the alarm. Why? Why does it sound the alarm from the beginning? Because it talks about the punishment, wail. It talks before the crime. The crime is the tatfif, Al-Mutaffifiin, right? So before mentioning the crime, it says punishment, destruction, wail, and then it's going to talk about what the crime it's going to be, okay? Then the word mutaffif, if you take a look here, you will see a W. Who knows what this W is? Who knows what this is? Shadda. What's a shadda? What does the shadda do to the letter? It stresses the letter. Exactly. So for example, the Arabic word for break is what? What's the Arabic word for break? Kasara. Kasara is to what? Break. So if I want to put this into a sentence, and I want to say, Ahmed kasara the window, right? Okay. What if I take a hammer and I go around the windows here and I break each one of them? Then what are you going to do to this verb? You put a shadda here. You put that W. Kassara. Kassara. Ahmed kassara the windows. Right? So this word taffafa, whatever these guys are doing, and we're going to get into that right now, it shows abundance. It's not just one window. It's what? This is a habitual act. This is an act of abundance. This is someone, every time it's time for me, like let's say I was selling a bag of rice. Every time I give you, I'm skimming a little bit from the top. It's not enough for you to complain. The bag still looks full, but that 1 or 2% adds up. If I take away 1 or 2% from him, and then from him, and then from her, and then from him, and you add all of this together, it comes out to what? Another bag. You know what I mean? And so this shadda here shows what? It shows that this is an abundance, and this is someone that does this act over and over. It's not a one-time occurrence. Okay? All right, great. Then, the second thing here is called ismul fa'il, or the active participle. Okay? I am the one who broke the window. Okay? I am the active participle. I am the one who did the act. Okay? The window is the object that is broken. That is the passive participle. This is what happened to the window. Okay? So I am the active participle, so I am the mutaffif. Okay? So when we put this M here instead of this meme in front of the verb, it means the person who's doing the act. Okay? Very good. Any questions so far? All right. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains something to us about those group of people. Two things that they do, and it's not just skimming. Before skimming, they do something else. When it's time for them to take something from someone else, they do this with superiority, with arrogance, and this is captured in the preposition ala. They take upon the people, on top of, not iktalu min, not from. If you're selling a scarf, for example, and I want to buy the scarf from you, I am buying from you, min, okay? But there's no min here, there's ala. Ala means on top. This phone is on top, ala, the podium. So how do you explain that I didn't buy the scarf from him, I bought the scarf on top of him? How do you explain that? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the preposition ala? Because I didn't buy it from him. I gave him such a hard time. I haggled, I muscled, I said, give me 2 for the price of 1. I know that he's in a position of weakness because he's trying to make money for him, for his family. And I understood that by looking at him. So I come in all dressed nice, and then I go to this buyer who's selling something, and I am actually exploiting him. I'm capitalizing on his weakness. And this is the behavior that Allah Azza wa Jal wants us to see in this ayah. It's not from. I didn't buy the scarf from. I bought on top, upon, with superiority, with arrogance, with aggressiveness. But now, when it's time for me to sell, when it's time for me to give, I try to skim. Think of it that way. You go to work, and you have to clock in, and you have to clock out. And you know that you have a best buddy who has a project. But all this best buddy has to do is take your punch-in card and punch it for you. And you leave 5-10 minutes before, 30 minutes before. Every day you're skimming from your job time. So this isn't an interaction where there's selling potatoes and selling rice. This is a behavioral disease that Allah is explaining to us for everything, for all of the interactions. You could be skimming time, you could be skimming money, you could be skimming on your chores as a husband, knowing, for example, that you have things to do in the house, but you're leaving it up to your wife to do the cooking and to do the cleaning and to do this and to do this while you're just sitting on the couch doing nothing. It's a behavior where the root of moral corruption is me, 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 me. I'm so selfish. You see what I mean? And this is what Allah Azza wa Jal has captured in this ala here instead of min. Not only that, without diving too much into the grammar, because this is just a reminder, this extra scene here adds to the meaning of someone who is taking with aggression. And then وَإِذَا كَالُهُمْ, and then when it's time to give them, supposedly here, كَالُوا, they measure, as in to give lahum. كَالُوا lahum, but there's no lahum, not for them. They measure to them. They are skimming, and they are causing a khusara. They are causing a reduction. So here, what they are doing is yukhsirun. Last time we said there is a difference between yukhsirun and yunqisun. Yunqisun means reduction. I skimmed a little bit of the rice bag, right? I caused the reduction, right? That's not the word here. There's no yunqisun here. It's not just a reduction. It's yukhsirun. Yukhsirun is a loss. What does al-khusara, what does khasara mean? It means something that was supposed to be mine and it's not. That full bag of rice was supposed to be mine and it's not. As an employer and you're the employee, the time that you should have given me for work, all of that time was mine, but you took it away from me. And that's why it's called yukhsirun, because Allah Azza wa Jal wants to show us that this belonged to the person who has the loss. Do you see what I mean? The measure belonged to that person and you took it away from him. You intentionally cheated. You intentionally took away from that person. The biggest loss of humanity, something that you have, something that's in your hand, is time. This is why Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Time is yours. Now, if you take advantage of time and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do dhikr, but when you waste time, then you are in a state of khusara. Allah Azza wa Jal did not say yukhsiruhum, they cause a loss for them, because the loss is double. It's not just for them, it's also for you, the person who cheated. You, the person who cheated, will be held accountable, and them they lost whatever they're supposed to get. This is the summary of what we covered briefly last time. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Finish at within 10 hours, right? So if you finish within 8 hours, we have 2 hours extra. So do you use that? If I use that extra 2 hours, the company already gonna pay me 10 hours, right? So I finish the job within 8 hours. So I use that 2 hours for myself. So that's gonna be cheating the company, or?
I'm your boss.
Yeah.
And I give you a task to do. And I say, I want you to finish 4 files within the 8 hours. You're smart. You finish the 4 files in 6 hours, right? What do you do in those 2 hours? Do you let me know that you finished early? Or do you keep the mouse moving? Like I have a friend who bought this thing from Amazon called the clicker. He called it the clicker because he installs this thing and it keeps the mouse moving as if he's sitting on the computer. Life is about intentions, right? Did you let him know that I finished quickly, now I'm going to go grocery shopping and I'm going to do my own thing? Or are you pretending to still be sitting on the computer by printing a picture of yourself and putting it on the chair? No, I'm just kidding. You know how some videos they show you like people pretending to get up but they still. So really the question is, what's the relationship that you have with your boss? Is it an open relationship where you can easily discuss with him and tell him, my job is to finish 4, whether I finish the 4 in 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, or are you afraid to tell him that you finished the 4 files quickly? Well, if you're that good, let me give you some more work. You see what I mean? It's all about what kind of connection and relationship that you have with your boss. So, yeah. But I understand where you're coming from, where if you actually tell him that you finished so quickly, he's probably going to give you more work to do, right? Yeah, so you're going to have to ask your conscience about that. Yes. You have a mic? You don't have a mic, okay. If you let them know, then you have cleared yourself from any wrongdoing. Okay? All right. So now this was the summary of what we have covered. Okay? Now we actually begin the halaqah, inshallah, for tonight. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ. This word right here, أَلَا, it's actually a lam. What does la mean? No, it's a negation. And what does the a mean? What does the a mean? What does the a do? The a, whoever said it, mashallah, the a puts a question mark, right? But the way this sentence is structured, it adds one more thing at the end of the sentence, an exclamation. What does the exclamation do? Huh? Emphasis. Ta'ajjub, astonishment. It also, this context of the way this question is asked, in Arabic it's called taqri' or tawbih or istinkar. Reprimand, rebuke, astonishment. Do they not think? Are they not aware? Are they not certain that they are going to be resurrected? What does the translation here say? Think. This is my translation here of this program, of this software, okay? You can have a different phone with a different translation, right? This word dhan does not mean think. This word dhan actually means what? 2 things. This word dhan actually means 2 things. One of them is to be suspicious, and one of them is to be certain. What is that called when a word means completely two opposite things? A contronym, that's what it's called. Do we have in English a contronym? Yes, we do. Example, oversight. The word oversight can mean two different things depending on how you use the word, right? When I say, this masjid is under my oversight, what does that mean? This masjid is under my supervision, right? And if I say, something wrong happened, it was an oversight, then it means completely different. It means the complete opposite, okay? Oh, I didn't know this was happening. It was an oversight on my part. I am sorry. So it can either mean supervision or it can mean the complete opposite, okay? Another word that is a contronym is what? Huh? Bittersweet? Is that what you said? Yes, bittersweet could be a contronym because it depends on the context, right? What other example did I have here? Sanction. Sanction is a word that could be meaning two different things. You can say, I sanctioned the project for the masjid. It means I approved the project for the masjid. Or you can say, the United States sanctioned Iran. You see what, so the, sorry, I couldn't find a better example. Because they're always sanctioning Iran, right? Anyway, so the word sanction and the word oversight can be two different things. It's called a contronym. The word dhann in the Quran has been used also in two different ways. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ الظَّنَّ لَا يُغْنِي مِنَ الْحَقِّ شَيْئًا, which means suspicion, and then in another ayah, الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُو رَبِّهِمْ, which means certainty. So here, which one do you think fits better into this context of this verse? Suspicion, do they not suspect that they're going to be resurrected, or certainty, or both? Squeeze those brain cells and tell me what you think. What do you think? Are they not certain that they're going to be resurrected? Or are they not suspicious they're going to be resurrected? Certain. Certain fits a little better. But here's the thing. If you are suspicious that you're going to be resurrected and accountable, you shouldn't be doing the things that you have been doing. And if you are certain that you're going to be resurrected, then absolutely you shouldn't be doing the things. So either way, it fits good. This right here is called a demonstrative pronoun for distance, أولئك, versus هؤلاء. أولئك means those, but means those that are far away. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is distancing himself from such behavior and such act. He did not say هؤلاء, he said أولئك. So just pay attention to this word, because when you see it in the context, it actually could be used also أولئك for good people. When I want to say that the righteous are in Jannah and Jannah is high up, I will say أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. So I can use it in a good context to talk about righteous people that are in a distance, or I can talk about people who I'm distancing myself from them because I don't like them. Okay? مبعوثون. Do they not think, are they not certain that those people are going to be resurrected? Mab'uth here is the passive participle. We talked about the window, and we talked about what is an active participle and what is the passive participle. This is English grammar, right? What is active and what is passive? What did we say about the window? What is the active participle? The one who does what? The one who breaks, right? But when the action is done to the window, then the window itself is the what? The passive. So if I say qatala is a verb, means to kill. Okay? If I say qatil is the one who killed, the qatil, is this an active participle or a passive participle? Active, because the one who killed is the one who did the what? The action. Maqtul, with the meme here, maqtul is the one who's killed. Is that active or passive? Passive. Why is it passive? Because the action was what? Done to him. Mab'uth is passive. What does that tell you about the word resurrected? What? Jazakallahu khayran. I owe you a virtual cup of coffee. When I say cup of coffee, it means I'm so happy with you right now. Because passive participle, mab'uth, when you read resurrected, you pass by the word resurrected. But when you know that it's the passive participle, it means they're resurrected and they have no what? Like the sister said? No what? No control. They are passive. The action is done to them. You are resurrected whether you like it or not. And that's the word mab'uth, resurrected passive participle, which means whether you like it or not, you're resurrected. Now let's look at this beautiful ayah. Don't they think, are they not sure for certain, those distant people, that they're going to be resurrected whether they like it or not? That's how you want to translate it, okay? All right. Resurrected. Pay attention to this lamb right here. See this lamb? If I can make it bigger. Nope, that's as big as it'll go. Okay. What does this lamb here? The word yawm means day. Yawm, day. Liyawm, for. Lam ta'lil, for the purpose of. Lam means for the purpose of. They are going to be resurrected for the purpose of a great day. When Allah Azza wa Jal says, the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the best of nations. Kuntum khayra ummah. Why? You have been the best of nations. Ukhrijat. Nas means people. If we were the chosen ones, like some people think that they are the chosen ones, right? Do you know them or no? Yes? Who are they? Exactly. They think that they are the chosen ones. Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling us as Muslims, you are not the chosen ones. If we were the chosen ones, we would have been kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat minan nas, from the people. That is, if you were chosen. But you are khayra ummatin ukhrijat lil nas, for the people, in service to humanity, to show humanity about the good moral character. Such was the character of your messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And so you are khayra ummatin ukhrijat lil nas, for the people, not min the people. And here we have the same example. أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ. Are they not certain that they are going to be resurrected for the purpose of a great day? This word azim has a root of, this word means bone. And a bone is what? Solid. A bone is solid. The day is solid. There's no doubt about this day. It's going to happen, and it's real. And from this word, we get azim, which means great. The question now is, why is this day great? Why do you think this day is great? And who is it great for? It's great for the righteous people. It's great for everybody, righteous and wicked. But I want you to think with me now, deep, philosophical. This day is great. This day is solid. This day is definite. Is it great for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or is it great for me? For us. What makes this day great is that I have no idea if the deeds that I have done are going to be accepted or not. What makes this day great is that I don't know which way the scales are going to be tipping. What makes this day great, even though the cataclysmic events of Judgment Day, إِذَا السَّمَاءُ انْفَطَرَتْ إِذَا الْكَوَاكِبُ, this, when the sun is this, and the earth is shaking, yes, it's great from a universal point of view of what's going to happen on Judgment Day. But this day, in Surah Al-Qiyamah, verse number 13, Allah Azza wa Jal says, يُنَبَّأُ الْإِنسَانُ يَوْمَئِذٍ بِمَا قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ. That day is great because it's the day that you will be told what you have done, what you have brought forth, and what you have procrastinated. It is an-naba'ul azim. That's what makes this day great, is that this is a day where we get to find out if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has accepted our deeds or not. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our deeds, inshallah ta'ala. On this day, yawm, something profound is going to happen on this day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us what's going to happen on this day. We are going to stand up. يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. The day where mankind is going to stand to the Lord of the worlds. Why do you think it's so important for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to say that we're going to stand? What's so significant about standing? If you're sitting down and a king walks in, or someone of high status, are you going to stand, or are you going to, just as you're reclining, say hi? You're going to stand up, right? So standing also indicates what? Respect. What else? Honor. Thank you. Submission. Shall we dive in deeper philosophically? Let's dive in deep. What's the difference? Oh, I need that chair. What's the difference between standing and sitting? What else? What's the chair doing to me? Supporting me, right? So there's no support. There's no support. Imagine, take your mind now to Judgment Day. The white, remember when we did the series in the Fajr and I explained every single detail on Judgment Day? The white, big white, vast land. Are there any buildings? No. Are there any landmarks? As you're waiting to be judged, are you going to be able to do this? The luxury of leaning in on something, you know? Are you going to go to your buddy and say, oh man, we've been standing for so long. Let me just lean on you a little bit? There's no support. There's no chair. There's no tree. There's nothing to, hold on to. Let's not even get graphical of whether we're going to be wearing something or not. Aisha radiallahu anha asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she said, what do you mean? Men and women, he said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لِكُلِّ إِمْرِئٍ يَوْمَئِذٍ شَأْنٌ يُغْنِيهِ. Everybody is going to be so preoccupied with your own self, with your deeds, you're not going to even be seeing anybody else. And there you are, no protection whatsoever, nothing to lean on, no tree, no building, no chair, and you're just standing, waiting to be tried, standing before Allah Azza wa Jal. Subhanallah, indeed. Now, you want to dive in deeper with me? Let's dive in deeper. The whole existence, the reason why you were created, Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Right? We have honored Bani Adam. How were we honored? So many ways, we're not going to even count. يَا أَيُّهَا الْإِنسَانِ مَا غَرَّكَ بِرَبِّكَ الْكَرِيمِ الَّذِي خَلَقَكَ. You were honored in your creation. فَسَوَّاكَ. You were honored in your perfection, your proportion, your balance. فَعَدَلَكَ. Everything about you, the way your eyes are placed, the way they're perfectly proportioned to your ears, the fact that they're in the front, not in the back like some animals, everything about your creation, there is dignity and honor. The way you have the ability to acquire knowledge acquisition, right? One of the things of this dignity is the ability to do what? Stand upright. You were not created crawling, and you were not created, walking on your belly. One of the takrim of Bani Adam is to be what? Upright. And to practice for this day, for that moment, you have been created for this moment, for the moment of standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so to give you some practice, Allah institutionalized prayer. And in prayer we stand. Even the prayer itself is called what? Aqim as-salah. Establish the prayer. From the same word qiyam. It's not just salli, prayer. It's what? Aqim. Establish. You establish something that's about to fall. So every time Zuhr prayer comes, what time is Zuhr prayer? 12, right? 12:01. No, I'm just saying. 12:01, 12:05, 12:10, 12:15, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, approaching Asr. You haven't prayed yet. Your prayer is about to fall. Your prayer is about to fall. You have only half an hour left. And you say, Allahu Akbar, you've aqim the salah. You've established the prayer. Come Asr prayer. It's about to fall. It's about to fall. It's about to fall. Aqim as-salah. You've established the prayer. Every time the prayer comes, it's about to fall unless you what? You do iqamah. You iqamat as-salah. That's why the prayer is called aqim as-salah. Establish that which is always about to fall. You establish the prayer by you yourself standing in front of Allah, practicing that stand. And so, on that day, it's not going to feel awkward for us because we have been what? Standing, right? Should I dive in deeper or should I leave it for a halaqah? Leave it for a khatira halaqah later? Okay? I'm just going to give you just one hint to entice you for the next halaqah. In Surah An-Naba, Allah Azza wa Jal says what about the angels? يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الرُّوحُ وَالْمَلَائِكَةِ. Right? Do they have legs? No. Why are they standing? Why is the word yaqumu used with the angels? We'll do that next halaqah, inshallah. We are going to be standing. This is the whole point. Now let's go back to the previous ayahs. Okay? Now let's do the translation and stitch it together, okay? Ala, astonishment, reprimand. Do they not think for certain those people distant that they're going to be resurrected, whether they like it or not, passive participle, for the purpose of a great day, the day they will find out everything that they have done, the scales, a great, magnificent day, a day that is solid, unwavering, definite, is going to happen, the day that they are going to stand before Allah Azza wa Jal. We good so far? Now Allah uses the impeccable kalla. What does kalla do? Scolding to everything that was before kalla. What did these people do? Give me something that they've done. Arrogance? No. No to what? No to their arrogance. No to their superiority. No to their aggression when they were wheeling and dealing. No to their exploitation, how they exploited others, how they capitalized on people's weaknesses, how they cheated, how they skimmed. Kalla. And sometimes kalla comes with a med and sometimes it doesn't. And I love when kalla comes with a med because it shows me the intensity of what was before it. So it's not just a no, it's an extended no. Kalla inna kitab al-fujari lafi sijin. This is not just a no, this is a med kalla. You see, no to all of those bad things that they have done. Now, Allah Azza wa Jal, in the previous surah, has talked about al-fujjar and al-abrar. In the previous surah, Allah Azza wa Jal said, where is it? He says, Innal abrara lafi na'im, the righteous are in bliss, wa innal fujjara lafi jahim. This was the surah right before it. Innal abrara lafi na'im, the righteous are in na'im, are in bliss. Wal fujjar, the wicked, lafi jahim, they're in hellfire. Now Allah steps it up a notch. It's not just they are going to be in hellfire. They are in hellfire. Their book is in hellfire. Their deeds are in hellfire. Kalla inna kitab al-fujjar. Their book, their record. Their record. Now look at the beautiful imagery of where their book is going to be. But before we take a look at the beautiful imagery and the word sijjin, where are the tawqeed, the certainty in this verse right here? I have two. Who said inna? Cup of coffee. Another one. A cake. What? The lamb. You were here in the last surah, huh? You know I give virtual cup of cakes and cup of coffee. Inna kitab al-fujjar, this lamb right here, So, when I say, for example, Ahmed is good, that's a sentence. If I say, indeed, Ahmed is good, I've added the word indeed, which is inna. Indeed, Ahmed for sure is good, then the lam. You see? So I have two. Indeed and for sure. And here, this translation captured it. If you take a look, they've had the word indeed and they have the word sure. I have two. Indeed and for sure. Allah Azza wa Jal wants to tell us, indeed and for sure, the book that has kept a record. Why talk about the book when we're talking about Mutaffifiin? Because Allah Azza wa Jal wants to tell us something. Ya believers, pay attention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to punish not just those who do not worship Him, not just those who associate partners with Him. Moral crime is punishable. Here, the law of the land, okay? If you call me fat, are you going to go to jail? No. You're not going to go to jail. You have freedom of speech? What? Yeah. So here, you have the freedom of speech, and if you talk behind someone's back, can you go to jail? If you mock someone, can you go to jail? It's not punishable by the law of the land, but divine law, yes, it's punishable. And yes, the book will capture it. And yes, you will find out on the day of judgment when you gossiped about someone, when you talked about someone, when you skimmed, as in this ayah. So this is why we're talking about records here in books. Fujjar, here comes the amazing W. And when a W comes into a word, what does it do? Stress. And what does the stress does? Repetition, abundance, and extreme. Not just the word fujjar. Fajjara means to explode. Fajjara means someone who rips apart. Here it's translated as wicked, rightfully so. But when the water explodes from the mountains, that's called infijar also. So something that explodes. Those people, why did Allah Azza wa Jal talk about the skimmers and those who are arrogant as fujjar? What have they done? The Sharia of Allah and the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like a fabric. And when you rip the fabric, you are called fajr. And you keep on ripping. It's someone who's so rebellious, so shameless, that they deserve that word fujjar. What about their book? The book is in a place, or the book itself is called sijin. Sijin. The word sijin in Arabic means what? Prison. Something that is locked away. And that which is locked away has no value. If you put someone in prison, you lock them away, and you take the key and throw it, then this person or whatever is in prison has no value. This word also shows that it's in a very low place. So this word here carries with it two meanings: confinement, imprisonment, the lack of importance, and at the same time, a place that is so low. Why did I say that it's so low and confined and has no value? Because I'm comparing this with what Allah Azza wa Jalla is going to say next about the Abrar. Their book, on the contrary, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, their book is what? I just want you to see the word. Illiyin. This comes from something that is ali, something that is high, something that is honored. their book is so honored, so worthy, that Allah Azza wa Jal says it's witnessed by those who are close to Allah Azza wa Jal. You've done something so good. You were so good to your parents. You were so good to your community. Allah Azza wa Jal has determined that whatever you have done is sincere and acceptable enough for you to go to Jannah, that everybody wants to know what you've done. Why did you enter Jannah? يَشْهَدُهُ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ. Everybody wants to see it. Everybody wants to. If Allah, the one who's just, the one who's fair, the one who's Hakim, the one who's wise, has deemed you worthy of Jannatul Firdaus, inshallah, all of us, then inshallah, when I meet you, I wanna read your book. I wanna enjoy reading all of the good things that you have done. You see what I mean? And so this is a book that is high and witnessed. Compare that with the word that we are studying, which is sijin, as in prison, as in low, as in locked up, and has no significance. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, to emphasize this word, He uses وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ. And what would make you know? You have no clue. You can only imagine what sijin is. When Allah, we've talked about this many times, uses the word adraka versus yudrika, what's the difference between adraka and yudrika? They both mean the same thing, but adraka means Allah's going to tell us. Yudrika means Allah's not going to tell us. We've said this, but I'm going to repeat it again. When Allah says, Al-Qari'atu mal-Qari'a wa ma adraka, and you have no idea what the Qari'a is, then He tells us. Laylatul Qadr, the night of power. Wa ma adraka ma Laylatul Qadr. Allah's going to tell us that it's better than 1,000 months, right? So Allah is going to tell us what this sijin is. This sijin is so awful that it is a kitabun marqum. It is a book that is marqum. What is marqum? Marqum has a root word of raqam, which means number or sequence. But that's not what it means here. It's similar, number. It's kind of similar, but that's not what it means here. Marqum means that it's a book that is inscribed, is a book that cannot be smudged, cannot be erased. Ashabul Kahfi wal Raqim, from the same word, means, yes sir? Huh? Yes, you cannot delete it. You know how the blind, they read a book called what? Braille. Because it's etched, it's inscribed, it's, you can feel it. Allah Azza wa Jal wants to tell us something. Go deep philosophically. Why would Allah Azza wa Jal tell us that their book cannot be erased? What does that tell you? Huh? Yes, but also if they are in hellfire and their book is such that it cannot be erased, what does that tell us about their situation? Yes, you can't appeal. The book is in prison, you're in prison, you can't appeal your situation. It's a done deal. There's no appeal. There's no exit, nothing. Huh? Yes. And the same word, next month, inshallah ta'ala, when we talk about the abrar, the same word has been used for us. Our book to your comfort, because once you enter Jannah, Allah Azza wa Jal describes the people of Jannah, لا يبغون عنها حولا. What does that mean, لا يبغون عنها حولا? You know how when you're looking at the screen, and then you look away, and then you look back on the screen, right? The people of Jannah, they don't want to be distracted from the pleasures of Jannah 1 second. They don't want to come out of Jannah ever, to the point they don't want to even blink. There's no sleep in Jannah, and the weather is perfect, and there's no fatigue, there's no tiredness, there's nothing, and you don't sleep. You're in Jannah to the point of happiness that even blinking, you don't want to blink. So you can miss out on the pleasure, right? And so it's a comfort for the believer to know that your book is sealed like Braille. It's inscribed. It cannot be erased. That's it. It's done. And also for those wicked people, it's the same thing. Their book is sealed and their fate is sealed. Maybe I should stop here and take some questions, inshallah ta'ala. Okay? Or take more, whatever you like. Okay. We'll stop here. Is it good for tonight? Yeah? All right. Let me sit down for a second, take a look at my notes. And while you prepare some questions for me, and then we'll call it a night, inshallah ta'ala. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursaleen. Any questions, any thoughts about tonight's halaqah? Any reflections? MashaAllah, you're such a good crowd. Turn off the screen? Yes? Yes, sir. Yes. Mm-hmm. No. We're not going to have two books. You're just going to have one book. Yeah. No, this is a book talking about those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have deemed that they are going to go to Jahim, and the other ones, Al-Abrar, who are going to be in Na'im and in Jannah. They're going to get a book, because if that was the case, if you have two books, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ. It's for those who take their book by the right. And then the others are going to take their book by the left. So in that case, you're going to have both hands and you're going to take one book here, right? No. It's either this. But you have only one book. You have only one book, okay? And everything is going to be inscribed in this book, okay? Now, whether the believer goes temporarily in hellfire and then comes back out, that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's judgment. But at the end of the day, you have only one book, okay? Yeah. Yes? Yes. Yes. You want to take the mic? Yes. The human being knows what he's doing.
He's doing.
Yes.
Check. He didn't know.
Huh?
يوم يقوم الناس لرب العالمين.
I'm sorry, I'm not following. One more time.
يوم يقوم الناس لرب العالمين.
Yes.
He knows the human being, anything. You Muslim, when you do wrong, you feel yourself.
Yes.
It's not good.
Yes. Why do you think someone who knows intentionally that what they're doing is wrong, but they still do it? Why do you think?
What do you say?
Why do you think? Like,
I'm thinking Allah give you choice. And when you do something wrong, you know yourself. Even you talking about, for example, your wife, you're not helping or doing anything. Every human being have a fitra. He can know what he's doing in himself. So Allah said, كلا إن الأبرار لفي نعيم وإن الفجار لفي جحيم.
yes,
So إن الله لا يظلم أحد.
yes,
He was not going to do any wrong. But
yes,
you blame your own self.
yes, yes. I still don't. What's your question?
My question is the fujar. So that's why I want to know the fujar. They doing what they know it. They do it on.
That's exactly why they're called fujar. That's exactly why they're called fajr. Fajr means they know that this is wrong, but they are shameless in the act. Sometimes the shameless act is public. You've reached, that's a very late stage. Sometimes you do the bad things in your room, when nobody's watching, in your house, when nobody's watching. You know that Allah is watching you, but you're doing something wrong. But you know that Allah is watching you, but you're still doing it, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the strength to make tawbah from whatever wrong that you're doing in private. Like, let's say someone is drinking alcohol, and he doesn't want to know that he doesn't want his Muslim brothers and sisters to know that he's drinking alcohol. So he buys the alcohol and he drinks the alcohol in his house while nobody's watching, right? But you have some other Muslims that are drinking, for example, the alcohol publicly, and they don't care. They've reached the point of fujr that they don't even care. You see what I mean? So al-fujar has levels. You could be a repeated sinner in private, or you can reach the point where you are fujar.
The fujar, the way I think is he have a power on it, and he know what he's doing is wrong. And when you tell him the truth, you're wrong, he will our power at you. He put you in a jail.
You know what? This is an excellent point. And where we stopped today is going to tie to your point right now, okay? You said that they know what they're doing wrong, and when they tell them, they know the truth, right? Okay. The next ayah is this punishment, wail again, لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ, okay? Punishment on that day for al-mukaththibin. What is al-mukaththibin? I'm going to try to do a side face. Please do not laugh. Okay? If someone knows how to, if you're laughing already, I can hear you. Okay, that's a guy. Okay? And he's talking. And that's him, okay? That's him. When this person lies, he's a liar. He's called what? Kadhab. Kadhab. Okay? Kadhab means what? Liar, which means whatever he's producing out of his mouth is what? False. When you tell him the truth into his heart and he denies it, he's a what? Mukadhib. So this is the difference between kadhab and mukadhib. Al-kadhab is the one who produces false statements. Al-mukadhib is the one who denies truthful what? Statements. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say here? وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ to the mukaththib. That ties exactly with what you said. He knows the truth. He has been given the truth, but he denies. He's not producing false statements. He's what? Denying what? The truth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ties what you just said. إِنَّ كِتَابَ الْفُجَّارِ لَفِي سِجِّينٍ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا سِجِّينٍ كِتَابٌ مَرْقُومٌ وَيْلٌ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. Right away. Subhanallah. So now we're going to start in the next ayah, because we already covered this ayah. I'm just kidding. Yes, sister. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I don't know if it works. So actually, I really appreciate the point that Hassan uncle made, and that you are starting to like dive deeper into. And I would love it because, alhamdulillah, you're actually one of the few scholars, especially among men, and
not even close,
in this area, who at our masjid or even any other masjid, alhamdulillah, from the minbar, has made the point about how domestic violence of any kind in Islam is completely forbidden. And I think the point that Hassan uncle made about what is it that makes people, they know something is wrong and they still choose to do it. And Hassan uncle was pointing out, power, right? And how the nafs is so attached to power. So I would really appreciate, can you just dive deeper into that aspect of this topic? Talking about, people, they do things that are wrong and they know it's wrong, and they often do it in private where it's hidden. And that's definitely a dynamic within domestic violence.
Absolutely. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like we've said, He takes the crime of worshiping someone other than Him very seriously and associating partners with Him very seriously. But this surah, and then not just this surah, take a look. Take a look at, where is it? Where is Surah Al-Humazah? $104? Yeah, 104. Okay, so take a look at this. Mutaffifiin. Okay? And Humazah. Okay? 104, and the surah that we are on right now, 83. The only two surahs in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts the surah with the word wail. Okay? Wail, mentioning the punishment before the crime. Those two surahs are not about worship, they are about behavior. One is for the one who mocks people, slanders people, talks about people's back, and one who's on a power trip. Whether this power trip, and whether it's manifested into domestic violence, whether it's manifested into the way you're treating your spouse, whether it's manifested into how you're dealing with your employer. You could be from the Mutaffifiin. You're asking for the full paycheck at the end of the bi-weekly or monthly, and you're getting your full justice of the paycheck while you're not producing the full hours, or you're clocking out early, or you're cheating in some way, shape, or form. But you're taking in full and you're giving less. And you're taking in full and you're giving less. Apply this on anything. Whether it's a husband-wife relationship, whether it's a father-son relationship, whether it's a, uncle relationship, any kind of relationship. Take in full, give less. Take in full, give less. All the time. All the time. It's about me all the time. I had in my office something very strange happen 1 or 2 years ago. 2 years after COVID, we're done, nobody's wearing masks anymore. And this patient comes in and she's wearing the mask. And usually when patients come in wearing the mask, it means they're either immune compromised or they have a family member who's immune compromised. And so they care. And I asked her, would you like for me to wear the mask too? Because I see that you're wearing the mask. So she said, yes, please. So I look everywhere in my office. I look everywhere. I can't find a spare mask. She was like, it's okay. I'm going to go to my car and get you one. I said, okay, thank you so much. So she goes to her car. Believe it or not, she gives me a used mask. It was a mask that she used, right? I was like, this is used. She was like, I couldn't find any other mask. So I said, okay, so you care about your health so much that you want me to wear one of your used masks in order for you to not get infected, but I can breathe in all of the stuff that you have from your used mask. You see, we are talking about a mentality of people that they are so selfish. All they think about is themselves and their own personal gain and their own comfort. And so for her, it was dominance. It was okay for me to wear a used infected mask as long as her life is spared and herself is spared. Do you see what I mean? So this is what this Surah Al-Mutaffifiin, is really talking about, this disease, a disease of the heart, where every time you want to take as much as you can and take it with arrogance. And you're not just taking what's rightfully yours, you're taking it with arrogance and superiority and dominance, but when you give less. Any more reflections? Yes, sister. If you're giving more, you should always give more, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will were you the one who said in your country you give more mangoes or something like that? Who was? I remember a sister last time, she said that in her country. Remember? I said, I'm going to go to your country to always try to give more. Always try to do a little extra. It's actually, we have 3 levels of iman. And the ihsan is the highest one, which is the excellence and the perfection. If you apply this ihsan concept, it's the complete opposite of mutaffifin. You know what I mean? The ihsan is the complete opposite. Always try to give more. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you. Any more questions or reflections, inshallah ta'ala? No? Please. What? Game theory? What is that?
Oh, yeah, it just reminds me of in mathematical science, there's a theory called game theory, and it's proven that when your strategy is tit for tat, it's guaranteed that you're not going to be lose. Nobody ever. I would like somebody to prove that if you do more, give more than just tit for tat, like a 1-to-1, it would be proven that it actually you will win more. Do you follow it?
Yeah. So
you win more.
If you give more, you're going to get more.
You will win. The result of the process itself will give you more.
Yes. Why do you think that in Islam, what happens when you give to charity? Like, you what? you get ajr. You get reward, right? Yes, you get ajr and you get a reward, correct? If you give more, if you give to charity, if you give from your own money, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to reward you, correct? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said anything that you give will be given back to you. Ajr aside, the reward aside, anything that you give as sadaqah, as charity, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guaranteed that you will be given that back. Sometimes you're giving that back in the form of money. Sometimes you are giving it in the form of health. Sometimes you are giving it in the form of barakah and blessing in your food, in your family, in your kids. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promise that whatever you give, ajr aside, that you will be giving it back? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what? Al-Kareem. He is Al-Kareem. He's Al-Akram. There is no more generosity more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you're dealing with Al-Kareem. So when you give for the sake of Allah, not only is He going to reward you, but Allah has promised to replace yukhlifu. The word is yukhlifu in the ayah. Wallahu khayrul raziqeen. Right? Allah is going to give back, yukhlif, give back whatever you gave. It's going to come back to you. Whether it comes back to you in this life or it comes back to you in the afterlife. But you're going to give back everything that you've done plus your ajr. Because Allah is the most generous. Does that make sense? I hope that answers your question. But talk to me, because I'm going to Google game theory and understand more about your question, inshallah ta'ala.
In the Sheikh, that he said he was working in the company. He's not comfortable that he scheme some hours from the company, and how can I purify my wells? And the Sheikh told him, you can give charity to the Islamic school, or donate the money you think is that you scheme from the company. Mm-hmm. I don't know how your interpretation, but just
I don't know. What do you think? Yes. MashaAllah, beautiful. Yes, definitely. Anybody wants to answer the brother about someone who skimmed some hours from the company or cheated the company and wants to purify his wealth? So this person asked the Sheikh, and he told him, calculate how much money that you have made and give it to charity, right? Yes, for me, this is one of those questions that I always say are above my pay grade. You know what I mean? I can give you some quick reflection on do you take the money, like let's say you've calculated that the hours that you've skimmed are equivalent to $1,000. Do you take the $1,000 and give it back to the company that you cheated from? Or do you take the $1,000 and you do charity with it? For me, it's a fatwa, and I stay away from fatwas, and I don't know. I honestly don't know what's the right course of action to be done. Yes, sister. Now you brought me to the 5 R's because I have to talk about it. What are the 5 R's? The 5 R's of Tawbah. What is the number one thing of Tawbah that you have to do? Number one, the first R. What is the first thing of Tawbah that you have to do? Not regret, not remorse, not repent, not realize. You have to renounce. You have to stop completely what you're doing. Can you drink alcohol and get your sibha and say astaghfirullah 1,000 times? Astaghfirullah, 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 and then go drink alcohol. And then astaghfirullah, 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 and then go drink alcohol. Can you do this? No. Tawbah means you have to what? Stop completely what you're doing. That's the first R. Number 2 that you have to do is what? Regret. You have to have nadam of what you have done. But don't stay in this phase too long because you need to stay positive. Yes, you regret what you have done, but stay positive. What is the third R? Thank you. Resolve. Promise not to return. Number 5, request forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sister, mashallah, you've said 1, you've said 2, you've said 3, and you've said 5 to the brother, right? But you haven't said 4. What's 4? Restore the rights of others. If your sin is something between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like again the drinking alcohol example or gambling or whatever, you stop the gambling, you regret gambling, you reserve not to go to the casino, and you request forgiveness from Allah. But if whatever you've done involves someone else, you have to restore. You stole money from somebody, you have to give the money back. Otherwise, on the day of judgment, you, him, trial. It's as simple as that, right? And so the question now, which is a beautiful question, so glad you brought it up, how to restore? That's what the guy asked the Sheikh, right? All of those are good. The person is going to renounce. He feels regret. And he's going to say, I'm not going to skim hours from the company. Ya Allah, forgive me. But now he went to the Sheikh and he said, how do I restore the money? That's where the fatwa comes in, and that's when I step out. Because I'm not qualified to tell or say what can be done. First, calculate the money that he stole. But what do you do with this money? The logical thing says, give it back to the company or give it back to the person you stole it from, right? Not to take it to charity. How do you give it back to the company? Yes, sister. Could be. Allahu Alam. I told you I'm stepping out of the fatwa. It could be. That's a good option. Yeah. Maybe do extra hours, make up. I'm too embarrassed. Well, let's be realistic. What are you going to do? You're going to go embarrass yourself and go to the boss and say, you know, all those years I have been finishing work 5 minutes early. That comes out to a few hours. So this comes out to $1,000. So here's $1,000 because I'm a liar. I'm not sure that's a course of action, but this could be a good solution. Wallahu a'lam. I'm out. Yes. Yes. Yes, exactly. It could be, you know, give an extra 15 minutes every day. Give an extra 10, 15 minutes every day. Do a little file, like you let's remember I told you 4 files, you know, do 4.5. Do 5. Make up. That's a good option, by the way. That's a really good option. Mm-hmm. Allahu Alam. I'm out the door. How to restore? This is really big. Another thing that I would like an answer to also, let's say I talked about someone behind his back. How do I restore? Do I go, brother, on day so and so and so, I said something against you, I apologize. He's like, I don't remember, but I don't know how to. The restore part is really it's really a big deal. Yes. Anybody wanted to ask? Yes. Beautiful. Great solution. Great solution. Talk positive about the person you talk negative about. Yes, give sadaqah on his or her behalf. Many options, and believe it or not, big scholars have tackled this restore subject, and they're worthy of diving in deep. Maybe we can have a discussion about the restore portion of the tawbah and just see what the other scholars have said, because I'm sure this is a big subject, and I'm sure they have lots of suggestions on how to restore, and we should maybe compare notes at some point and see what the others have said. Yes? I'm sorry, what? Yeah. It is very complicated. Oh, it is 100% complicated. It's very complicated, actually. This is such a complicated matter. As you become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you want to purify yourself, and you're like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do about all of the bad things and the bad people and I've talked about, all the bad things I've said or whatever bad things. You're like, how do I do this restore? So yes, this is a very complicated issue. Yeah. Any more reflections?
Just like so when I studied economics, economics 101, it says that fair transaction or fair trade is only going to happen if both parties, which means the buyers and sellers or the providers and the customers, they must have equal access to the same information. So it's only happen like that.
Yeah.
Which means that in real life, it's rare this is happening. Like if we go to auto repair shop or we go to a doctor, because the doctor, they have more information than us. So if everything that the doctor said, we cannot refuse or we cannot argue that, oh, I don't need this. Or if we go to auto repair shop, it's the same. The mechanic says, your car needs this, and then we don't know because...
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
and especially if you don't know anything about cars, and the mechanic says this is how much it's going to cost,
So, which means in real life, it's rare it's going to happen that it's a fair trade or a fair transactions.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك جزاكم الله خيرا الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين and inshallah I'll see you in the new year inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa iyyakum. Assalamu alaikum.